Oh, hell yeah, we're back. This is part 3 of a live stream series I've been doing on this kind of indie rock, indie pop kind of vibe from Ryan Helm. Track is called Time and Space, and I'm mixing and mastering it in Pro Tools. So just before I get started, a lot of people are like, I don't use Pro Tools. Doesn't fucking matter. I don't know why you guys get so uppity up about what DAW you use. It's really not important what DAW you use. What you'll get out of this is the techniques, right? The plugins, why I'm using the plugins I'm using, the gain staging, the master buses, the busing, the chains, all that stuff. Everything is going to be something you can learn from, no matter what DAW you're using. So when people say things like that, it kind of irks me like, wow, you are a true beginner. If you think that because you're mixing in Logic Pro, you can't learn from a live stream that's on Pro Tools, or because you use FL Studio, you can't learn anything from mixing and mastering in Pro Tools. Like, don't be silly, y'all. This is going to be valuable for you, no matter what. I promise you. Even if you've been mixing for 15 years, I don't care. I think you'll learn something from this. I've learned so much from people that have been mixing a lot less than I have, right? Like they've been doing it for 5 years and they show me something that they've been doing. I'm like, whoa, I never even thought of that, right? So there's always something to learn. I've been mixing and mastering for over 2 decades now, and I learn something new every time I mix a new song. And there's new plugins and new everything. It's 2024. We have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of technology, and yeah, this song is really cool. I think you guys will like it if you're into kind of dreamy, fun, it's almost like synth, indie rock, synth pop kind of stuff. But it's really fun. I like this record and I'm digging it, so I'm going to go in on it. This is part 3 again. Now, for the housekeeping stuff, I don't expect you guys to pay me for any of this information, right? But if you do want to support the channel and you want more live streams and you want me to be doing this and keep doing this and keep teaching you what I know, and you want me to keep building this community here, there are a couple things you can do that will really help that to happen, right? You can, I think there's like a thing on the YouTube stream where you can kind of like donate or, you know, give tips or whatever. I think it's called Super Chat, right? So you could Super Chat it. You're like, oh, I just got this crazy game right now from Bradley on this mix. This is amazing. I never thought of that, and I'm gonna use it in my mix. And I'm gonna take from what I'm showing you guys. Drop a Super Chat. Drop $2, $5, $10, $100,000, whatever you feel comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing you can do to support the channel is just share the show. Drop a comment. You know, throw the little thumbs up when you get something out of it. If you don't get anything out of it, then I don't expect anything from you. Just fucking see you later. You don't even need to be on the stream if you know everything, right? All right, so let's get into it. Let's get back to the record. I'm going to share my screen here, and we're in Pro Tools again. And I'm going to show you kind of where I am with the mix and where we're going. And if you're in the house, say what's up. Don't be a creep. What's up? Scott's back. Scott is like, yo, I want all the game. I want all the game all the time. Brian Olson, my guy. What else? Who else we got in here? Skin Eamon. I don't know what that means, but cool. Yeah, it's awesome to see you, man. Some new faces in here. B-Tunes, what's up? Ireland in the house. Got the Irish. That's what's up. All right, cool. So here we are. This is called Time and Space, and let's just... I mean, this is part 3. I'm not going to sit here and be like, here's the ref and here's what I'm doing and all that. I'm just going to kind of show you where I'm at right now, okay? So I have I have the perk in, I have all the major elements into the track, into the mix, and there's a couple things that I'm missing. They're all down here in this blue area, okay? And most of this is happening at the end, and also they're like textures of whispers and stuff that I have not put in yet. Okay, so I just kind of like build the foundation of the track, get that sounding really good, and then I can go into, you know, building out the other parts or the textures, the whispers, things like that really aren't super, you know, fundamental to the record. Okay, And that's something I've learned to do, just like really focus on what's fundamental to the record. So I'm going to show you a couple things. Let's just kind of start it from the beginning here. All right, so you can tell it's very spacious, right? I think we're making this landscape much bigger. That's kind of the idea that I have in mind. This part where everything drops out and we get this new vocal, I wanted to try some things with this because I think this is an opportunity to make the record more interesting. So I have the Waves gemstones on. This is like the sunset, smoky skies. It's like this big dramatic reverb, basically, right? Pro Q3 sweeping, focusing mainly on the mid-range on this vocal. And then I have the FG Stress, which is like a distressor compressor, which has some good tone, and I always like the distortion 2 algorithm. I don't know why. I just think it sounds really good on vocals. Very colorful and beautiful, and the harmonics are great. And then I have this FGN, just a Neve 1073 style EQ. Maybe like more like a 1084, 1081. I'm not really sure what this is really modeled after, but you know, it's a little bit more versatile than a normal Neve EQ, as you can kind of go through the bands, right? So Neve EQs are always like fixed. They have fixed pot stuff. This, you can actually go through all the different bands, which is really cool. And then I have the 1176 Anniversary Edition, just 2-to-1, doing a little light compression on the last part of this. This is for this vocal part. And then I have this AC1 plugin that the guys over at Audio Hertz sent to me. And they're like, yo, you should try this out. You know, people see my content and they're like, hey man, you talk about plugins, you know, check out my shit. And I'm like, you know, sometimes I'm like, I don't have time to like check out every single plugin, right? But sometimes I'm like, wow, that looks cool. I don't know what this is, but it looks cool. So I wanted to fuck with it. So I did this with it, right? I'm going to turn this on and I'll show you what I did with this vocal. I have to kind of gain stage it a little bit. So I'll kind of tuck it back down because it adds a lot of gain. It's like a saturation filter, all that.
Till you took away everything I couldn't say. You made me think that maybe there was time.
I thought that was a cool texture to give the vocal, and it feels like more mid-range and distorted and warm, and almost like we're like going into a different headspace, like, oh, he's thinking about something or he's in his head sort of thing. And that's kind of the idea here. I'll show you kind of what this does. This is pretty cool. This is kind of the blend knob, so 0 to 100% parallel blend. This adds more saturation. It's sort of like a feedback circuitry which I thought this was really cool, like a unique UI, right? You've seen this in like old Honda Civics and shit, right? And then this is the saturation, obviously, right? You have the heat, the max, whatever. And then there's the AC section, which is like a filter section. And I'll show you what these filters do.
Till you took away everything I couldn't say. You made me think that maybe there was time. Till you took away everything I couldn't say. You made me think that maybe there was.
You know, it's a cool effect, and I think it has a really cool harmonic to it. It sounds warm. So that's why I'm using that. And I think it's a fun plugin too. Like, what a cool idea to take like the AC, you know, temp thing and turn it into a plugin skin. That's sick. All right, what's up? What's up? Like a lecture hall. Nice. Oh, that's funny, man. You're hella funny. You know what it is? Probably Hild. I don't know how to say your name, but it's probably that I did voiceover for like 7 years, like professionally, right? So sometimes I just get into talking like that. What's up, bro? Good to see you. Good to see you. It's like a Skin E man. Oh, Skin E man. Gotcha. Yeah. So I thought that was a cool change too, and just trying to give it some different vibe. To really exaggerate this idea, I also thought, hey, why don't we send this, like make a new send. Let's go to a new track here, and let's go to like vocal drench. I don't really know what to call this, but vocal drench sounds cool. And then I'll do the return here to the all Vox. So everything's coming back. And remember, every time I do an effects send return, I always turn it into this teal color. And I did not mean to do that to this one, so I will turn that one back to the hot pink. And the vocal drench, let's do, one of my favorites is the Valhalla shimmer. The shimmer is really cool because it has sort of like this this pitch mode, and it's like pitch shifting octaves back into the reverb return. So here you have up 12, right? So sets the amount of pitch shift in semitones, or you can go down -12. But the return of like shifting it up an octave makes this really cool thing happen on the shimmer. So let's send to this a little bit on this vocal drench, and let's bypass the Waves gemstones, just so we can really focus on this idea of this reverb.
Till you took away everything I couldn't say. Till you took away everything I couldn't say. You made me think that maybe there was time. Till you took away everything I couldn't say. Till you took away everything I couldn't say. You made me think that maybe there was time.
So fun shit. You can also automate that. Kind of what I was doing is just like feeling it out. Like, is this cool to make it kind of like fluid and have, you know, more of this like ghostly thing happening? And then messing with the EQ and stuff and the return. So the feedback is going to get really crazy. That's when it just starts to really build and get crazy. And then you have the low cut and the high cut. So you have like the EQ stuff. You have the pitch mode, which is dual, single reverse, dual reverse. This is just basically giving you like 2 different pitches, left and right. And then this reverb mode is going to be like either mono, medium stereo, big stereo where it's wider, etc. So this is a really cool plugin for kind of big effects and drenching stuff. And you can really hear it if we option drag it, put it as an insert right there. And let's bypass the send and just like mix this in so you can really hear what this is doing, because it's pretty intense and it can get out of control, but it's a cool effect thing. And it also gives you like a moment of interesting texture and layers and depth.
Till you took away everything I couldn't say. You made me think maybe there was time. Till you took away everything I couldn't say.
Like just a really cool thing to do for a moment in the mix to make a moment happen, right? That's a really fun one. Another one that I really like for this kind of idea would be the baby audio. I'll show you. This one's really dope as well. I always have so much fun with this one. Yeah, spaced out. This thing is just like so cool. And then there's just some like presets in here that are just amazing. Like this reverse textures. Let's just start with something here. Maybe Beautiful Roads. And you have basically a space like XY kind of pad here. So it goes into like lush to cosmic to alien to trippy, right? So these are the different reverbs and spaces, which is really fun to play with. This is going to blend these 2 things, which this is a delay over here. And you have the echoes, and you use this kind of like circles and grid thing, which is really fun. And then you also have like these different filters. So you have a filter where you can high pass, low pass. You have textures, wonky space, clean, lo-fi, hazy, just fun shit. But check this out, because what we can do is we could kind of go 100% wet over on the reverb or 100% wet on the delay, or blend the 2. And that's where things get really interesting on this plugin.
Till you took away everything I couldn't say. You made me think that maybe there was time.
Right? So that's super fun to be able to like automate this thing and like, oh, there's a delay and then it's like swooshing into reverb. It just feels cool. It's really spacey and really fun to fuck with. Yo, I appreciate you, Scott. Thank you so much for the super chat. It means a lot, man. And, I'm going to try to keep these streams up. You see me putting in reps. You see me coming in here every other day, showing you guys games. So I appreciate that, Scott, for real. But yeah, you guys, if you have any questions at all while I'm doing this stuff, just let me know, just drop them in the chat. Is there a trick to take mono vocals and make them stereo like gang vocals, but with only 1 track? I don't think there's really too many tricks with like a mono vocal, like a single vocal, and then making it a gang vocal. I think that's going to be a lot of editing and a lot of like just tedious, pitch shifting, format shifting, duplicating the track. That's really, really difficult to do. I would just have the artist or the vocal just get more takes. You know what I mean? If you want like a gang vocal kind of idea, that's super difficult to fake. You can do it with maybe like if you have a left and right vocal. Yeah, you can like duplicate them, pitch them down, pitch them up. Format shifting is going to be your friend. You can use like harmony engines from like Auto-Tune. those are good tools to use. But for the most part, that's like very, very difficult to make sound like organic and real, you know, especially gang vocals. But this is a really fun thing to do, right? So this is a part where you can just kind of automate this shit, right? So for example, in Pro Tools, if you hit Control Option Command and you click on any of these things, you can enable the automation for it, right? So I'll enable that, and then I'll go to my automation lanes right here and go to spaced out dry wet mix, and then turn on the touch or latch where I can start to mess around with this, right? And then I can just kind of hit play and record this automation of, you know, a performance of this thing that I'm doing, which is really fun. So check it out.
Till you took away everything I couldn't say. You made me think that maybe there was time. Yeah.
It's funny because it keeps fighting me. I don't know why it's doing that, but you can see like it's kind of fighting. It's like, stop, I want to go back. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's like a performance now. Now you cannot do that with a plugin just like turning it on. You have to automate stuff, and these XY pads really allow you to do fun shit with the automation that you wouldn't be able to do with just a regular plugin, right? And now we can filter this as well and add pre-delay, and there's this like little thing here called Stardust. I always think this sounds really fun. And you have the width. You can automate the width in and out if you wanted to, right? So click on that, enable automation for width, and let's go to the lane. And then we make it like kind of, you know, go small to wider. Like that's a really cool thing to do. So we'll go into the automation lane and we'll go to space width. And then on this, just click and kind of drag where you want it to go. What I would do is like kind of start more, you know, mono, and then kind of come out towards the end of the phrase. And if you want, you can just draw that in as well, right? So if you know that this is the phrase here, right? And here, I'll try and get my screen where you guys can really see it. If you can see this here, right? These are the phrases. So here's one phrase here. So I can just click and go to my hand tool and click here, and then click at the end of the phrase, this last thing that he's saying, and then click here, and then I can just draw this up, right? Instead of having to, you know, click and drag my mouse, you can get more precise with that. So let's go like really wide here at the end of the phrase, right? Let's hear this.
Till you took away everything I couldn't say. You made me think that maybe there was time. Maybe there was time.
And maybe even on that, yeah, we go like really small, like where it's almost like bypassed, right? It's like really dry. So go back to like super mono, and then go to the dry wet mix and take this like down where it's like almost completely dry. And these are just like fun things you can do to make, you know, your record sound a little more interesting, because the listener doesn't care about what you're doing and like how much you're doing it. They just care that like it sounds cool, and they're like, whoa, that's really cool. I felt that like vibe right there. You know what I mean? And always you have to kind of finesse the ideas and the effects that you're doing. But here's what this sounds like.
Yeah.
Right, so it's just like, yeah. So that's kind of fun. And it's also something you can just, I'll take this back to Reed. You can go here and go back to your waveform view, right? And this can be like really low. Like it's just like a little, yeah, you know. I always think that kind of thing is cool, where you have this big spacey thing and then you have this little tiny, yeah. right? Take it all like, yeah. You know, and then you can make things go up and down as far as how big they sound and seem. Because when you make something smaller, silent, whatever, then when you hit with that big hit, it's going to sound a lot bigger. And I know that's his intention. And how do I know that? I read the stems and I read the arrangement, right? So I can see in his stems that the end part, he's got extra stems. He's got this. He's got all this stuff to make the end bigger. And if I know that from an arrangement and production standpoint, I know that with my mix, I want to accentuate that. I want it to be bigger, not just with stacks and stuff of instruments, but with reverb, with whatever kind of effects to make things go up and down and give the record an arc, a story arc, right? So that's very, very important when you're mixing, and it's a very important thing when you're writing and you're producing, etc. So, but yeah, that's kind of the idea. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming through. It's cool to get some of y'all that never make it to these live streams in the live stream. Always good to see y'all. And if you guys like what you're learning or seeing in any of these live streams, just show love. Throw some thumbs up, share the show, drop a super chat if you got a little $5 spot on you, $2, whatever. Like anything you want to. You don't have to like give me any money. It doesn't. I'm not going to stop streaming because you guys aren't paying me or anything, but it helps me stream more basically. All right, support the channel. I don't make any money on this channel. I spend a lot more than I make. Okay. I pay editors every month thousands of dollars to edit videos and get shit up for you guys. I just don't make any money off this. I spend and finance this channel 100%. And I've been doing that for over 8 years now. So show support, show love. All right, so let's get into really making sure that we're not getting too caught up in like making effects happen, because usually I save that for the end, right? Like I want the record to be there, and then I'll start adding the effects and the sweetening and all that stuff. The biggest reason is because you don't want to, do an effect and do all that stuff, and then when you go to tweak your master bus, your mix buses, all your stuff that you're putting together, it changes everything, and then you're like, oh man, now I need to go change all that automation I spent hours on. So I don't usually do that. I usually get the sonic quality down of the record first before I start doing all that tweaking. But I wanted to show that to you guys because I think it makes these live streams a little bit more exciting, a little bit more fun. So there is a double here on this part for the vocal. And I want to put this in and see if it works. If it doesn't work, that's okay. But I just want to see if I can make it work. So I already have the double on the lead here. Let's hear that.
You came down to tell us with a heart bigger than the sea. Time and space.
Right, so that's a cool double, and I'm trying to make it like really wavy. And I got the doubler 2 on here. This is one thing that's going to help that. And I'm tucking back the middle. You can always bring up the sides as well on this. So like, for example, bring this up to, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Like I'm just showing you that this brings the sides up. You want to go -5 on each side, right? And on the middle, it's at -12.5, right? So this will give you more of the doubler effect in the left and right? And less of the middle. So I'll show you what that sounds like. I'll bypass that in and out.
You came down to tell us with a heart bigger than the sea. Time and space will stand still when you come back to pick up me.
So what that's really doing is thickening the vocal and making it more important in the middle of the stereo image. And it's a super important part of making records feel larger than life or feel like an actual important song, okay? Especially with vocalists, rap, rap trap, where someone's saying something really important. You want that vocal to be like, big, beefy on top of the record. You ever hear Drake records? They're like, yeah, it's just like him. And then the beat is like you know, very secondary. So that's a good way to make a lot more space in the middle for the vocal and the vocal to take up that area, is to have your double and then put a doubler on it and make it really big and important. And it also just sounds more like lush, and I don't know, there's something just really nice about it. I've always liked that. I've always liked doing that with vocals. So here's the double here. Let's duplicate this because we've spent time on creating this chain. And all this chain is, just so you guys know, is an RVox giving some compression. The REQ really focusing on the mid-range of the vocal because it's a double. We don't want too much low end. We don't want too much top sizzly stuff because then you get sibilants and T's and P's and all that stuff in the sides, which is just distracting. I just want the beef of the vocal. And the vocal sits in the mid-range. That's just how vocals are, right? And then I have the doubler, and the doubler is tucking the middle so that it's really just on the sides, and the lead vocal can be in the middle, right? So we're kind of wrapping around that lead vocal, which makes it much more important, makes that whole thing just feel much bigger, all right? So I'm gonna bring this down here to this other vocal, which is our double, and we're gonna drag this up, right? Bada bam. And here we go. Here's our vocal double on this part. And we might even do some cool shit with this because it's a different part. Maybe we'll make it like more distorted or format shift it or something fun to give it a more texturized, different vibe.
Till you took away everything I couldn't say.
Yo, that feels really like psychedelic. You feel me? Like, I'll take this in and out so you can really hear what the double vocal is doing. I'm pretty sure this is a different take of the vocal. It kind of looks like the same vocal, but maybe he's just really good at doubling. Yeah. All right. Well, here, check it out. I'm going to put it in and out. Because if it is just the same vocal that he just made a double of, like duplicated it, you're going to get this like weird phasey stuff going on, which can be cool, right? You can make that cool, and you could play with the phase for sure.
Till you took away, till you took away everything I couldn't say. You made me think that maybe there was time.
I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. And, you know, like, I'm probably overdoing the effects and stuff, so I'll trim those down later. And the way to trim down effects is just basically go to your whatever automation you've done, right? Like this stuff here, and just like take it and whoop, and then bring it down, bring it all down, right? You can do that. So that's in Pro Tools. Very simple to do. I do that all the time with effects because I overdo them. And then as I go through the mix, I just kind of like tuck them back, tuck them back, tuck them back. And I know that my effects are going to be crazy. So I'll go through and I'll just kind of trim down all my effects a little bit, you know, just for the sake of keeping it all, you know, cohesive and not distracting the listener. I don't want the listener to be like, oh God, what's happening? You know, what's going on? What did he say there? I have no idea. This is weird. This part's weird. You know, sometimes you just want the effects to feel a certain way. But in this case, I want them to be heard. So let's play this.
Till you took away everything I couldn't say.
So for example, on this part here, I think the dry wet mix should be kind of like coming up to where it's the end of the phrase where it really gets exaggerated, right? So I'll show you what I mean. I'll just delete all this, right? And I will go to my tool here, and I'm just gonna do this and find like little points where the phrases are happening, right? And so maybe like this kind of comes up a little bit here, right? And I just kind of shape the effect a little bit. And then at the end here, This is where I want it to kind of really take over. Get what I'm saying? So try this out.
Till you took away everything I couldn't say.
Right, so let's really have it emphasize the say. All right, so let's take this down. Bring this up right here. And I just like feel this out and really pay attention to how it feels.
Till you took away everything I couldn't say.
All right, that's sounding cool. Let's make sure the S doesn't go into the reverb like that. So maybe we tuck the say and like really have the end of it kind of fire off, but not the S part, right? So I'm just kind of paying attention to that kind of stuff. And then I'll bring this back down there.
Till you took away everything I couldn't say. You made.
Right, now that sounds like a moment. That sounds cool, and I'll just kind of mess around with that as I get deeper and deeper into the mix. But right now I really like where this is at for the moment, so I'm going to leave it alone. And I'm going to focus on getting this in part all dialed in, because I know that there's a bunch of stuff that still needs to be in the mix that's not there yet, right? So, for example, we have these parts at the end. We have the whispers. I feel like that's just a texture. If I'm going to listen to, for example, the reference, do we really hear the whispers? That's what I want to know. So let's go into the reference and let's play this part here at the beginning and see, like, listen and hear for the whisper parts. I think it's more of just like a texture. Right, it's like night and day where our mix is compared to the reference, which is awesome. I love that when I can like A/B it and I'm like, whoa, the record blew up and it's exploded and now it's 3-dimensional. It was like 2-dimensional and now it's like it's all around you. I love that. So as you can hear, the whispers are kind of just like really in the background. So that's not a super important element of the mix. I'm not going to like jump on that right away and be like, man, I gotta get those whispers in. You know what I'm saying? I better spend a bunch of time compressing and EQing whispers. Like, fuck that. All right, so let's go to the end of the track here. I think everything else is pretty dialed in as far as like balance and stuff. Like, I spent some time on this choir and I want to show you this stuff as well. There's like a choir swell here and I popped this in. This is going through the key augs. This keys augs here, and then that goes to the instrument mix, which all my mix buses will be up here. All right, so let's find instrument mix, goes to the all instruments. All instruments has just like a little bit of EQ on it, doing mid-side stuff. Where is my instrument mix? There it is. So instrument mix bus has some Pro Q3 tucking the vocal range, right? In the middle only, not on the sides, just on the middle, and the top on the middle, because usually I want the vocals to take up that area. And then I have the ARTG mastering live. Make sure I use the live version. If you use the normal version, you will get latency and it will throw things out of sync. All right, so I have a little spreading going on my instrument bus. And I have some EQ here, very, very small. 352, ducking a little bit, taking down some of the subby stuff, like low stuff. I have a little bit of a presence boost here on the overall filter here. And then I have some compression limiting at a like 55% mix in, so it's paralleled. All right, so that's what that's doing. I can put this in and out with the instruments.
People tend to digress. It's such a meaning inside the trees. Forgetting we were
I love that plugin so much. I can't tell you how much I love this. I love this plugin on the instrument mix bus. I'll always use it on the instrument mix bus, just because it adds this like texture, this vibe, and being able to widen the mix, the instruments, and do some shaping and compression. It just sounds warm and it makes it feel more analog to me. And I really like that. And I'm all in the box. Someone the other day, like yesterday or today, like left a comment on one of my videos. I was talking about, I forget, it was like a tip on EQing or some shit. And I pulled it from one of these lives. And they're like, these liars out here, they really just use all this analog gear and they talk about these plugins. And I'm like, bro, fuck you. You have no idea what you're talking about. You know, people say dumb shit online. I think because there's dumb people out there, you know, and there's people out there that are just haters. Like they cannot help it. They're like, I hate you. So yeah, calling me a liar and I use all this analog gear. I'm like, what fucking analog gear? So goofy to me. Like, I don't know you. You don't know me. Why are you getting on my post, getting all mad? All right, so master bus, real quick. I want to make sure that I dial this in on maybe the loudest part of the mix, and we haven't got to that point yet. So let's get to that point, because I think this is going to be like the loudest part of the mix. And let's hear it in the reference just to prove that. I mean, I can kind of see it right here, right? In the actual waveform. This is where everything gets big. Let's hear it. Yeah, that's where it's supposed to get really big. You wouldn't be able to tell that from the reference. The reference kind of just sounds bleh, right? It's like everything's kind of crowded. The vocal doesn't have its space. Vocal also sounds like there's some pitchy notes in there that we need to correct, things like that. And I just pay attention to that in the reference. I'm like, how can I make this sound 10 times better, right? I never want my client to get the mix back and be like, first of all, a first-time client, you're always going to have revision notes. You're going to go back and forth because, you know, nobody knows what to expect. But I never want a client to send me like back a note saying like, this is like way off and my mix is better than yours. You know what I mean? And if they feel that way, I probably will never work with them again if they keep that attitude, right? Even after we go through revision rounds, because it's obvious that they can't hear what I can hear, and they're obviously just sucked into their temp, right? They're like, I have temp love. I love my shit no matter what you do. Even if you made my record 10,000 times better and gave it a big upper hand on being a commercial success and bringing me in tons more fans and opportunities, I don't give a fuck, because I am about my mix and what I'm doing, and you can't help people like that. You know, they can't help themselves. So it's like, fuck it. All right, let's never work together again. I mean, I'll finish the mix and then I'll be like, cool, see ya. Peace, motherfucker. Good luck. I don't want to work with people that don't have that sense, you know, that they're not like, wow, this sounds way better and I can't do that, you know. Okay, so Glass One. I don't know what this is, but let's listen to it. Let's listen to all this stuff at the end. Okay, so big padded kind of swelling analog synth kind of vibe, right? That's what it sounds like to me. So we're going to bring this up to the other stuff that's like that. So I have like this choir synth. I'm going to duplicate this. This is how I do it, guys. Like, you build a patch and it's a similar sound. You can just duplicate that patch and you can drag that to it. And then you can tweak whatever you need to tweak within your EQ, your verb, whatever else, right? Send it to a verb, turn up or down the volume, etc. When they're not like super important elements and they're just like pads, right? It's just filling out sonic space. So if something's in the way, as far as like high end, low end, whatever, we want to mainly use filters, right? And front to back. So front to back would be this true verb. And here we're just doing like distance and room size, right? So that's like just using early reflections to tuck things back. And I have my early reflections up a little bit and the reverb tail up just a little bit. But for the most part, that's what we're doing. We're doing front to back, and we're filtering so we can go up and down and get out of the way of the vocals, left, right, etc. So that's how I think about that kind of stuff. So we'll call this glass pad, and we will delete this one. Looks like it's a Spitfire instrument or something. And let's bring this in. Remember, everything else down here, all the stems we're not using right now, are all muted. So we're just bringing these in one at a time.
Innocent is the way we'll even in differences of you. And some see the world as if it has nothing to do with me and you. I'm now seeing a world.
Cool, that's kind of doing what it needs to do. It's just like a thin little layer of pad, and we probably have more in here. This is a guitar. Let's hear this. Bring this in. It's like probably a rhythm guitar. So right away in my head, I'm like, that's right up the center. It's going to be right on top of the vocals. I have to do something with that. I have to make sure that stays out of the way of the vocals. Let's take this up to our guitar area. So these are all the guitar stuff. And we have, this is really cool. I really like this company. They're a smaller company and they make great shit. This is like the Need 88 or 84 by Noisash. Really, really great 1084 emulation. Neve EQ, if you're a guitar player. Awesome shit to have. All right, and then that's stereo, this track. So I can't drag it to a stereo track because it's a mono, right? So let's do this. Change the track width, make it mono. And bada bam, like that, we're in business. And now I can also like pan this because I do not want this in the middle, right? This is like electric guitar going like, you know. I'm going to bypass the Neve right now because I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I don't want to just turn it on and have like some sort of EQ going on the electric guitar. You know, I need to mix to the record. I'm not just like preset mixing.
Innocent is the way we'll see, believe, and differences of you. And some see the world as if it has nothing to do. Innocent is the way we'll see, believe, and as if it has nothing to do.
Cool, and that's just another texture. With this one, if I was producing this, I would have had a left and right of this, right? The ding, 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 ding. Like just play it left and right. I wouldn't distort it as much because I think there's so many elements right here that with a distorted guitar, it's hard to fit into the track right here. And it just kind of sounds clumsy, but we're gonna make it work. And when you have just like a mono guitar like this and you're like, man, I want it to sound like more stereo, and like, what the fuck? Like this isn't working for me. A really, really classic technique that I'm sure you guys have heard before. If not, you're hearing it right now. So you better hit that like button. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It's like all the YouTubers, right? I'm not a YouTuber, guys. I do like teaching and I like making stuff for YouTube and for you guys, but I'm not a YouTuber. I don't make my my main income off of YouTube AdSense revenue. I make about $200 to $300 a month off of AdSense revenue on YouTube, and yeah, that's far from what I spend. All right, just so you guys know, I don't want you guys to like buy into the hype of all that shit. All right, so electric guitar end, that's what I'm gonna call that. And then I'm gonna send this, so I got my sends, and I'm going to make a new track, and I'm going to send this to a mono. Actually, let's just make it stereo. It doesn't really matter. We'll call this guitar verb, and we'll create that. And then this guitar verb, as y'all know, needs to be colored, so we know that it's a return, right? An effect. And then I'm going to pan this one like over to the right, right? So electric guitar is going to pan to the left, and then your guitar reverb return is going to pan to the right. I've been digging this this Pulsar plugin. I've just been beating the shit out of it because I love it. Primavera, just so good and probably amazing on guitars because it's a spring reverb with a nice like drive preamp and all that. Sounds very classic. We'll go to guitar and we'll go to American Amp or Epic Solo. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Let's just pick one. Something to start with, right? And then we're going to go to the send, and we're going to send here. Now, another thing you want to do is you want to hit this FMP, which is follow main pan. If you follow the main pan here, it might not be as effective for what we're trying to do. So I'm actually going to, because see, like we're panning the guitar left, and then we're going to pan the reverb right on the return. So follow main pan would mean I want the reverb send, the send to the reverb, to be panned left on the send. So that's not really going to work in this case. In this case, I might want to do send it to the right more, right? And that's the idea of being able to pan your send. And then this is the return, obviously, right? And then our return, we're going to kind of bring that in so we don't get a lot on the left. We have the dry signal on the left, we have the wet signal on the right, pretty much, okay? I'm explaining this really like in a roundabout way. It's probably because I'm buzzed from the cold brew coffee. All right, and then the reverb, preamp, all that stuff, we can mix this 100% if we want, but I don't know. Let's check it out.
Is the way.
You see what that does? That's just like a very, it's a cool trick to, if you got a mono guitar and you want it to feel like really wide, but you don't want to have like your mono guitar panned hard left and you're like, what's that guitar player doing way over there? You know what I mean? Just for it to kind of like take up left and right, and you didn't track a double on it, that's a good way to fake it. And you can go wide, you can go tucked in more, you know. You could make this guitar reverb return a mono return, right? So if you wanted to do that, you just change the track width and turn it to mono. And then the plugin obviously will need to turn to mono. And then you can like pan one like maybe 75 and then pan the dry 75, right? somewhere around here, and check that out. I mean, it's a cool way to do a mix with electric guitar or like it could be a synth, you know? It could be anything. It doesn't matter. And it just kind of gives you that more of a stereo image. All right, so that didn't work because I think our send like got reset or something. You know what I mean? I don't know what happened there, but oh, here we go. It says no input now because there's no mono bus feeding it is basically what it's telling me. So let's go no send. Let's try that again. Let's go to guitar. What was it? Guitar reverb. Guitar. Where did it go? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Let's just make a new send. Let's just bus it to new bus, new track. I'm gonna try this again, but I'm gonna do a mono so it makes sense here. Guitar verb, and it's gonna make a new return as well. We'll just copy this over. I don't know why it does that. I think it just gets confused. It's like you had a stereo send, now you want a mono. Like, what are you trying to do here? It's just like I'm not fucking with that. So cool, we'll just delete that and then we'll go back to here and we'll go to all instruments. So the guitar reverb comes back to all instruments, color our track, right? So we know that's a verb return. And let's take this up and there you go. Take off follow main pan. And then we will put that out to about 75 or so. Sounds like this. All right, so I actually liked it better with the stereo return, so I'll probably go back to that. But really, really fun. Like that's a great way to do this with like a stereo guitar idea. And you guys, I'm actually like out of time. I have to get to a call. I'm sorry. Like I was like, oh shit, it's 4:27 already. I've had like a pretty late day. But if you guys have any questions about any of this stuff on these mixes and everything, just drop them in the comments. I'm also going to leave links in the description for you guys if you want to work one-on-one with me and you want me to mix your record like this, you know, maybe live stream it, make content around it, etc., and help you guys get more reach and, you know, open up more doors for your music. I'm just going to leave some links in the description. All right. I really appreciate you guys coming through, and don't forget, if you got something from this, share the show. All right. And feel free to support the channel however you can or however you want. If you want to drop super chats, you know, 5, 10, 20 bucks here and there, you know, cool. I do this for free. I do this out of my pocket. I take money out of my pocket to be producing this kind of content, to live stream and all that. I could finish these mixes in, you know, maybe 4 to 5 hours, full on mix and master. But instead I'm like doing these live streams and showing you guys everything that I'm doing. So it just takes longer, right? But I hope in hopes that I give you guys some game, and also I get Ryan some more reach with his music, right? So just on these live streams so far, we have like, you know, 600 streams on the first one, like 400 on the second one, and hopefully this one will get more. And the way that we get my clients and you guys, we get you more reach and more people paying attention and listening to your music and learning about you, is by you guys sharing the show, you guys liking it, you guys commenting on it, you know, you guys supporting the channel. That's how it works. All right. So till next time, y'all, I'm going to try to stream more and more. So stay tuned.